Alright, you guys, Eternal Life fans, everyone, I got some news. I believe in God. Somewhere along the line, I started believing in God, and I don't exactly know how this happened, but it did. I didn't think this kind of thing can happen. Yeah, I just thought I would never believe in God. But I did again. Because I used to believe in God, I guess, when I was a kid. And then I lost my belief. And I didn't think I could ever gain it back. But I did. And, it's crazy. Yeah, so I actually believe in God. And, you guys might be thinking, like, how did this happen? I'll tell you. It's just, I feel like it happened from... So when I was an atheist, I had this philosophy that said, people should fear the hypothetical God. I said, you know, because we're agnostics, we don't know if there's a God or not. You know, I was an agnostic atheist. So I said, if we don't know if there's a God or not, we should just, you know, obey the hypothetical God, fear the hypothetical God. So I had this idea of a possible, you know, imaginary God of my own creation. But then somewhere along the line, I started to actually believe it. And to me, it was just kind of a thing where I was like trying to be precautious. Like as an atheist, I was just trying to say, hey, you know, because we don't know if there's a God, maybe we should be better safe than sorry, you know, be the best person ever, so that if there was a God, maybe you'd get to heaven. You know, it was a precautionary story. As an atheist, that was my thinking. And then when I became a Christian, I mean, when I started believing in God, again, I'm not saying I'm a Christian now, so I'm not necessarily like going with that label at all. I don't think I will be going with that. But I am no longer an atheist. I can say that. I'll tell you what, though I believe in God, that does not mean that I don't fear death. That is my main thing. That is my main thing. I still fear death. I'm still tremendously afraid of death. But now I can say that I do believe in God for some weird reason. Okay, if there's a God, maybe he just zapped me and made me had belief now, and I believe. Like, I don't know how that happened, but it happened. I have it. I fear... You could still, I mean, you could call it still a hypothetical God, because I don't know the exact parameters, so still everything is hypothetical. I just happen to believe in the God part now, but it's still hypothetical as far as the rules and everything, because who knows the rules? But I believe now, so what does this new God want from me? Who can say? But I don't know the rules, but I can still guess the rules, just like I was doing before. So I can guess the rules, what the rules might be, and to me, it seems pretty straightforward that the rules are going to be, you got to be a good person. You got to have the right actions. You have to, you know, it's still the Willy Wonka story. The bad eggs go down the chute.
Don't care how I want it now.
She was a bad egg.
Where's she gone?
Where all the other bad eggs go. Down the garbage chute.
Oh, the garbage chute. Where does it lead to?
To the furnace.
A lot of this I still haven't sorted out yet, because I just figured out that I really do believe in God. So a lot of the details I haven't sorted out yet. I have to flip everything around. I have to reassign my brain. It's re-network the brain pathways, because, you know, that's a lot for the brain. I mean, I'd imagine all my brain connections that were wired in a particular way. as an atheist, right? My brain connects were like, right? You don't believe in God, and it was this way, and this way, and this way. And now my brain is having to rewire, and it's like, you do believe in a God. That is a very big difference. Okay, so a lot of people probably think, well, this must be a coping mechanism of yours. Because I used to talk about coping mechanisms. I said, religion was the opium of the masses. I used to say, you know, religion is a drug and people are, you know, they're just comforting themselves with lies so they can feel good about life. So they can feel like they're going to heaven and there's a God protecting them and everything, right? And so it was a coping mechanism, like a way for them to cope with death. And I still believe that. No, I mean, I still believe it is a coping mechanism for a lot of different people. I don't think it's a coping mechanism for me, how I did this, but it doesn't give me that much comfort, to be honest. Believing in a God now, I actually don't have much more comfort at all. So how could it's not a good coping mechanism. If it's a coping mechanism, I really don't have that much more comfort. Because I'm still afraid of death, because for all I know, if there is a heaven, it's physical, or there's no heaven at all. Like, just because there's a God doesn't mean there's a heaven. And then two, you have to wonder, just because there's a God doesn't mean you're getting into heaven. So there's still an element of like tests I might have to pass, right? If there's a God, just as I was saying before, if there's a God, God might have all these rules and it's all hypothetical. What are the rules of God? But the point is, I don't get a free pass into heaven now that I believe in God. It's like, no, you still have to work for it. Like before, a lot of these Christians were like, they were like, you don't have to be a good person to get into heaven. They were like, you can just, okay, like when I was talking to a lot of Christians before, they were saying, you don't have to be a good person to get into heaven. You can just rely on the atonement of Jesus. Okay? That's what they would say. Oh, you can just rely on the atonement of Jesus and that'll cover your sins and you'll go straight to heaven, right? That's what the Christians were saying. Just because I believe in God doesn't mean I believe in that. I don't believe in that. I believe in a very judgmental God. If there's a God, I believe in the God of judgment. Yeah, I believe there's this God that's going to like judge people. And it changes everything. Now, actually believing in that, it changes the way I see the world. To be honest, there's a bit more satisfaction now. Because it's like, oh wow, these evil people, they're going to get judged. And that does feel good. Feels good. It feels good to believe there's a God of justice that's going to judge these people. And, the evil people out there, the people doing all kinds of evil things. Abuse, raping people, killing people, disobeying the 10 Commandments. All kinds of evil people out there. Not saying breaking one of the 10 Commandments automatically makes you evil. I'm just saying, there's a lot of evil people out there doing crazy things. And now actually believing in God, it's like I can look at these people and like, oh wow, they're gonna get judged. Yeah, and that is a level of satisfaction I did not have before. Changes. It's like, yeah, because I like that. I relish that judgment that these people are gonna get judged, and my message is still a lot of the same. It's entirely the same. That's what's ironic about it. Though my belief has changed, my actual message now for the Eternal Life Fan Club, it hasn't changed. It's still the same thing. We gotta cure aging, because God is, even I don't know for sure there's a God. The point is, the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. The Bible's right about that. And that's what I kept on to the whole time. I stopped believing for some reason. I lost my faith. And now I have it back. It changed. However it did, it happened over time that a belief was changed. I don't know how to have that happen. I don't think I did it you can't just choose what you believe. You can't choose what you believe. Okay? That's why I was like, as an atheist, I was like, how can I ever become a believer? Because I'm like, I can never choose that. And I couldn't. I couldn't choose. I don't know how I believe right now. But it wasn't a choice. The point is, belief is a fickle thing. Belief, you know what I mean? It can change. I mean, it can obviously change. How does that happen? The point is, I don't judge people for what they believe. I don't judge people for what they believe. You know? Why would God? That's what I'm still thinking. You know? Why would God care if you believe in Him? You know? Like Jesse Peterson said on his show. I was listening to Jesse Peterson on Devin Tracy's show. I mean, got that mixed around. I was listening to Devin Tracy on Justin Peterson's show. And Jesse Peterson said, God doesn't care about what you believe.
Okay, but I mean, God could show us evidence if He existed. That could happen, but He doesn't, because it's this purity test. And, oh, you got to believe just blindly, and then you're going to be rewarded in heaven.
Well, in all honesty, God doesn't care if you believe or not. Who told you that?
Nobody told me that. I just okay. Well,
He
I like
really
the fact that
does not care if you believe. It's up to you.
That's what Jesse Peterson said. He said, God doesn't care about what you believe.
Baloney.
I still think that. I think that Jesse Peterson is right. God doesn't care that you believe in Him. God doesn't care if you believe in Him. I don't know for sure, but I don't believe God cares if we believe. Meaning, I think, right now, I think this is what I think. I think God, if God's real, and if I'm right now about my belief that God is right, then God doesn't care what you believe. He looks at your actions. He'll judge you by your actions. That means I don't get extra brownie points now that I believe. You know? Now that I'm a believer now, I'm a theist, I don't think God's giving me extra brownie points. Now I have an easier time getting to heaven now because I believe. Like extra credit for me now because I believe I'll get my ticket to heaven. I don't think that's how it works. I don't think that's how it works. I think as a believer, I'm held to the same standard of judgment because I think God just judges by your actions. My slogan, I'm going to end with a slogan. The slogan is this: be a God-fearing person. Huh. Yes. I was a God-fearing atheist before. You can be a God-fearing atheist, and if you're an atheist, you should be a God-fearing atheist. Like I was. But also, be a God-fearing theist. Because a lot of theists out there, the people who believe in God, they don't even fear God. That's crazy. They believe in God and they don't even fear God. How weird is that? It's like, you can't, okay. The point is, God-fearing all around, because you might be judged one day. That there might be a God that gets to determine if you get to live forever. If I get to live forever. It's not necessarily all up to you. So, that's all. I should end this more happy. Why am I getting all like grumpy? This is supposed to be a happy video now. Like, I believe in God. Whew, that is powerful. This is a good, cool thing because it's kind of cool. It's kind of fun to believe in God. It's like a different feeling. So this is I'm gonna end this on a happy note. This is cool. Okay, but the negative note is I could be wrong, and just because I believe in God, doesn't mean there's a God, and we're scared as heck about death because we don't know that there's any God or anything. Okay? That's the message, is like, fear death. I'm terrified of death. I still think it's, if there's a heaven, it's physical. Just what I happen to believe. I don't know that that's true, but I happen to believe that. You know, I don't think that, I think if your body dies and you just burn into dust, I think you're dead.
So you're not thinking that your soul can keep living even if you physically die. Because most God believers.
Yeah, I don't.
So that's very unique.
I think though I believe in God, I still think if God's gonna save you, He's got to make it so you just don't die. He's got to say, like, intervene with whatever, give you some ability to not die.
This God believing thing. Give it some time. Most people think that there's soul and God's gonna let your soul live on forever, even if it's through reincarnation or dancing around in the clouds in heaven.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. That part didn't change, but your branches are still forming.
Yeah.
You give it time.
They're forming so much. Like,
No.
I'm telling everyone, you can't be sure there's a God, people. So you better fear death.
Because your message was for believers and non-believers, and so whichever side you're on, the message is still there.
Yeah, exactly. My message is still the same. You better fear God because you don't know there's not a God. Atheist, duh. And you better fear death because you don't know that there is a God, and you might need to live forever physically on this earth, right? That's the message. That's what I was trying to tell people the whole time.
Or not, He's the God of the Bible is still hypothetical at this point.
Yeah, exactly. It's hypothetical. I don't know that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just. Yeah, it's really nothing. It's just yeah, it's still afraid of death.
Okay.
Still afraid of death. Because I don't know that I'm gonna be saved. You know, like all the Christians say, I know I'm saved. They say, I know I'm going to heaven when I die.
A lot of
I'm like, though I believe in God, I don't know I'm going anywhere when I die. That's why I'm afraid of death. Let's get that that's good. That's number one. Let's
put that on the record right now.
Let's put that on the record. I'm afraid of death. And then I am afraid of God. God-fearing. That's the whole thing. Like, you fear death, you're a death-fearing, and you're God-fearing. See, that's really a huge secret. And you can have that. And you don't even have to believe in God to have that. Because I had that. Even before. As an atheist, I had that. I had the fear of God. You can't deny I had the fear of God. I did. Even as an atheist.
Well, either way, whether your soul would live on or not, or even if you believed in the soul living on, you would still think, but what if I'm wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Or, my soul lived on, but what if God didn't deal well with my soul? What if He wanted to punish my soul for something?
Yeah.
Or,
oh yeah, you still always... See, that's the beauty of this whole thing, fearing God and fearing death. Because no matter what way it plays out to be, the path is unknown. You don't really know which way it is for sure. So those rules always apply.
You never wanted to take the risk of the plunge of jumping off that cliff to see what's next.
Yeah.
So you still would want to live forever.
Yeah. That's the mark of a true eternal life fan. You always prepare for every worst case possible scenario. You're so afraid of death that it drives you to do anything to live forever. The last thing about the God thing is this. I'm hoping for the best but preparing for the worst. That means I hope that I'm right. Hope there is a God. But I don't know that there's a God. That's a thing. I believe in God. I hope there's a God. I don't know. Just want to always put myself on the record telling everyone that so they know. I don't know. But, I'm preparing for the worst. Meaning I'm going to prepare, just like I did before as an atheist, I'm going to prepare, live as though I have to live forever physically, because that's still what I think. I think there's a God, but I do think I still have to live forever physically. I think if there's... Yeah. Basically, just because I believe in God doesn't mean I believe in like some... like you die and you float up to heaven like they show and all this stuff. I don't think that. But even if I did think that, I couldn't control that anyways. It's not a choice. People don't choose what they believe. People don't choose what they believe. That's the message. All right, you guys. Yeah. It's a new thing. It's a new thing to believe in God. It's different. And I don't know what's coming next, but something is coming. Something exciting. I'm going to go talk to people. I feel more invigorated to talk to people out there in the world. Let's see what they have to say. All right, you guys. Goodbye. May you live forever.